Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and I forgot that I had forgotten to show you something this morning. I don't have it pulled up, but everybody's probably seen it by now. It was Corey Johnson, which was Ripple's spokesman from a year or so ago, and he had tweeted out that it was a quote. It was something to the effect of in space no one can hear your screams, and it says hodl, and it says hashtag XRP or something to that effect. But it seemed like a pretty important message coming from that guy, and he's extremely optimistic most of the time, but every once in a while he'll tweet something like that out as if to say, don't you worry, it's coming. Then I got this from XRP Crypto Wolf. Lithuania's central bank believes that all central banks should gain experience in digital asset management and need to participate in the digital asset space. They said that the future of CBDCs is tied to the development of technologies like blockchain. So they're all gearing up. You're starting to see more and more drippage. I don't even know if that's a word, but drippage coming out of these central banks that they are getting ready to either bring out their own digital assets or central bank digital currencies, or just lay the foundation to get ready to do so. Now, this was interesting from Michael at VAL5 Links. University of Texas at Austin said that they will give grants to faculty members and graduate students who want to launch research projects that are focused on crypto and underlying tech, the blockchain. The program is backed by Ripple. And I think that speaks for itself, but I just want to make the point. When the history books are written, the UBRI initiative by Ripple will be one of the most genius things that they did by creating all these universities that can go out there and promote blockchain, and maybe more specifically XRP and the Interledger Protocol. Now, there was a couple of interesting tweets from Tony Valentino. I have to give you my disclaimer because sometimes he can be a bit controversial, and that is that I don't agree with every single word, but the theme of what he's saying I do agree with. Ripple's over-the-counter sales were meant to be for whom? The insider. Now that they have bought their fair share and are set, Ripple closes the OTC, send the slave sheep to buy on exchanges and buy inflated prices, and at the same time cause XRP value to rise. Well, I'm not going to go through all of this, but what I do want to get the point across about, and I've always compared it to IPOs or pre-IPOs, where when I was with Morgan Stanley in a pre-IPO, you would have the wealthier clients and what they would call the accredited investors or qualified investors would get to invest before the IPO would hit the public. And these were for the initial public offerings that were being issued by the investment bank. And then the retail wing of the investment bank would be able to sell those shares before they hit the public market to the accredited investors. The over-the-counter market is no different than that. It was, in my opinion, created for the purpose of keeping the wealthy wealthy and making the wealthy more wealthy. And so that is what over-the-counter sales is really all about, in my opinion. They're able to transact behind the scenes. It doesn't affect the retail. And then when everybody's ready, and I'm not saying Ripple did this, I'm just saying this is the way the world works. So, and then when all the money, I've been saying this for 2 years, when all the money's in place for all of the wealthy institutions, we knew in 2018, we were reading articles that Harvard was investing, Yale was investing. These are the most important endowments in the world that are investing some of the wealthiest people's, the wealthiest alumni money in the world, okay? And they're investing over the counter. All 2018, that was going on while the market was down and going down in the retail market. So yes, you better believe it. That's what we've been talking about for 2 years. And then he says, Jay Clay, and this is true because I remember something where there was an agenda from Jay, because I think the agenda for the SEC has to be made public. somewhere at some point we covered something on here where it was a meeting from Jay Clayton's schedule. I'm almost positive where people from Ripple, and I think it was specifically Brad Garlinghouse, had met with Ripple or somebody from Ripple. But he says Jay Clayton met with Ripple. He knows what's going on. If you want to know more about the globalist deep state and how they operate, Ripple is textbook. Now, again, I'm not saying all of that. I'm not saying I agree with all of that. I'm just saying that Ripple has met with Jay Clayton. Ripple has had interaction with the White House. Ripple has had interaction with the Treasury Secretary. We've shown all of this on this channel. And so he is making a good point here. Follow Ripple from the early days, board members, connections, direction, progress. The one they will not mention yet. Exactly. I agree. And then this is from Bank XRP. And Bank XRP, he's crediting XRP Darren, who put this out, who's a definite fault, at Fame21 More. And then Bank XRP at Bank XRP. I believe what Darren has found is the beta version of the official Ripple video, How Ripple Works, March 2016. As you can see, they're almost identical, but the name Xstream replaced with Xcurrent, and they added voice transcript. But this is interesting to look at. It's just a video from the early days, and you can see kind of how things have evolved. And next, from XRP, you amaze me. Nothing to see here. Are you paying attention? As a result, intraday liquidity is becoming scarcer and more expensive, and managing it effectively and efficiently is an increasingly important issue for the banking community. Ripple has a mechanism. It's called ODL XRP, and he's retweeting this out about liquidity management. Next, Chinu Patel at Chinu Patel 29 is sent me this. Actually, I think he sent a couple of things. This is from Grayscale. A recent study from a Yale professor found that Bitcoin should occupy about 6% of every portfolio in order to achieve optimal construction. Even those who are strong Bitcoin skeptics should maintain at least 4% Bitcoin allocation. Now, that's a Yale professor. Remember, Yale, those are the people that were investing in digital assets back in 2018, their endowment. Now one of their professors is coming out, and he's putting himself out there saying that a portfolio should have 6%. Okay? Now, I've told you for at least over a year and a half that I believe that when it's all said and done, every financial advisor, whether it's retail or from a institutional standpoint, their portfolios will have anywhere from 0.5 to 5% allocated to digital assets. It's not just going to be Bitcoin. And that's what's coming. Well, now a Yale professor is telling you, and he's saying 6%. So I'm no professor, but the Yale professor just told you what I've been telling you for over a year and a half. Brian Kerr, Ethan Beard from Ripple revealed XRP handles 50% plus of global crypto transaction volume. That's some serious settlement utility. Now, that right there is interesting. That is my thumbnail for today. I can tell you right now. Central bank payments news. And this is from Chinu Patel as well. European central bank policymakers meeting in Frankfurt this week will discuss the prospect of launching their own digital currency, according to Eurozone officials familiar with the matter. So you can see these central banks are all getting in a row. They're not going to sit by and watch China put out their own central bank digital currency. The second China said that, now all of us that have been watching this, I've watched since 2013. I've watched China try to manipulate all these markets and say, oh, well, we're going to ban crypto. Meanwhile, they were planning their own, just like JP Morgan was planning their own while they said that Bitcoin's a fraud and all that. Meanwhile, they were planning their own. Well, now, if you think that the central banks of the world are going to sit around and watch China come out with their own central bank digital currency and sit on their hands, then you don't have any business investing in digital assets because you still don't get it. And then this is from Rhythm Trader, and you need to always, everybody that's in digital assets every once in a while needs to check back in on old tweets like this. It says, less than a decade ago, $100 Bitcoin price prediction sounded more ridiculous than $1 million prediction does right now. Here's two tweets that he pulled that are hilarious. This is from July 15th, 2011. Well, Bitcoin has stabilized at almost exactly $14 a coin. I'm tired of waiting for a jump, so I'm taking the loss and getting my cash back. And then this guy, this poor guy, I remember this guy, we've shown him before. I wish I had kept my 1,700 Bitcoin at 6 cents instead of selling them at 30 cents. Now that they're $8. So please don't be these guys. Don't be these guys. And then there's this from Rhythm Trader as well, and this is awesome too. Mark Cuban on Bitcoin. It's too difficult to use, too easy to hack, way too easy to lose, too hard to understand, too hard to assess a value. Surprising from someone that made a lot of their money from the rise of the internet, facing ironically similar comments. And it's exactly true. If you've never seen this video, this is these people on which show was it? I think it was Good Morning America was the show. But this is Bryant Gumbel and Katie Kirk, and I can't remember her name. But they're talking. This is when the internet first came about. For many of you young people out there, if you've never seen this video, go watch it because you will finish watching it. It's very short, minute 26 seconds. Excuse me. You will finish watching it, and at the end of it, you will say, wow, this is the same kind of talk that we've been hearing about blockchain and digital assets. It'll blow you away. Go watch it. Okay, and then Uphold put this out. We're thrilled to announce that Stellar, Nano, Digibyte, and OX are live on Uphold for our members in the U.S. with 24 hours of zero exchange fees on buys. More coming soon. This is interesting right here. I've noticed that Uphold seems to be on the up and up. Uphold seems to be putting more things out there recently, and so they've never been anything but a good exchange. I don't even think you call it an exchange, but I've never had anything but good experiences with Uphold, by the way. So I always like to mention them if I can. Now, this is another one of those. I got to give you a disclaimer. I don't know what's being said here. I just saw this and it looked intriguing enough for me to show you, and so I'm showing it to you. This is from chickenhawk_crypto. Okay, I don't know anything about this Twitter handle. This just was intriguing to me, and I'm going to leave it at that. It's amazing. I've stayed away from crypto Twitter for 3 years, waiting for this special day. Just signed up, and I already have doubters in the truth. I don't know what this is. I don't know what the 1212 thing is. Don't have any idea. Here's what I see and have been charting for years. Now you do as well. And he's got a chart and it's showing, I don't know what this is pointing to. It looks like, that looks like 48 cents. And then it says, it's not when moon, it's how much moon. And it gives all these, I'm not saying any of this, by the way. Remain positive and steer your thoughts in the direction of your dominant ambition. We will see something happen. I don't know what this 12:12 is. I don't know if they're saying 12 like tomorrow. I don't know if that's what they're getting at, but it could be pure garbage and probably I'm just showing it to you because it looked like an interesting tweet out of nowhere. When these things come out of nowhere, a lot of times everybody's interested and I'm interested too. BondCrypt, Croatia post offices now offer crypto in exchange for its national currency. 55 post offices in total. They include Bitcoin, Ethereum, Ripple's XRP, Stellar XLM, EOS. And so that's pretty wild too. And then there's this from CoinDesk I wanted to at least share with you. I'm not going to go into the article, but you need to go read it. A lot of what's emerging today in crypto seems futuristic, but it's actually a return to the past. Finn Brunton weighs in on what history tells us about the future of money. And then so go and look at this. It says it's like year in review 2019. And finally, I wanted to show you this. This is from the people at Ledger. Ledger earn crypto rewards through Ledger Live. You can now manage and delegate your Tezos directly on Ledger Live. So the way I understand this, and I haven't investigated it yet, I'm going to. The way I understand this is that they are now going to be in some kind of way allowing you to earn interest even when your digital assets are on your Ledger Nano S. If that is what this really is, and like I said, I'm going to look further into it, then you better get ready for things to get very exciting, because this is a world game changer. I'm a digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, tell your friends and family that if the Ledger Nano S people are now paying interest in digital assets, it is on like Donkey Kong. I'll put it that way. Thank you for listening.